Yeah, 3-1. It was a good match. It was a good match. First half I thought was excellent. A little disappointing that we didn't do more in the second half. I would have liked to have seen that same. I think we've still yet to see Tottenham push that same amount of like effort for a full 90 minutes, right? We always tend to have to be one-sided. Either we do well in the second half or we do well in the first half. I'd really like to see us to kind of really continue that, to put that amount of pressure for a full 90 minutes. Because I'd be excited to see what we could do to teams, because I thought we controlled the match. We opened them up really well, controlled the match all throughout the first half. I think they were a little bit shocked. I think this is part of the Sun effect. He still looked a little bit rusty when it came to a couple of finishes he could have put away. The one at the back post, I mean, he was off balance. I don't think he really expected it, to be honest with you, the way it looked at him. His head was way back here compared to where his feet were. But that other finish too, when he was kind of one-on-one with the keeper or whatever, and kind of buffled it, that one he should have probably, a normal Sun would have put that away. But him just being there on the pitch and what he's done for the side, I thought was great. He was cleaning up and setting up. I think he set up both Kane goals, or started the, drop deep to grab the ball to play in, which led to Kane's first goal, and then obviously.
Yeah, he played really well. Will, what did you make of Brighton in the first half? Were we excellent, or were they just really poor?
I thought we were excellent. I mean, honestly, if you look at the statistics, and I know Still hates them, but 50-50 possession wise, the problem with Brighton is that their end product and their possession was really poor. Played a lot of, gave a lot of balls away. Their final pass or their final touch before they gave over possession was a bit poor the entire match. But
Will, don't you think their defense was just completely not what they're normally like? Because their defensive record isn't too bad in the Premier League this season, but today their defense looked average at best.
I think it depends on who they're playing. I mean, because City opened them up 4-1, right? So this year, so you can't say that they're just a stalwart of defensive, whatever. And then the guys like Chelsea, people who are using them as an example. Chelsea's been a bit fickle offensively. They show up and they don't show up. So you can't necessarily say that because they held Chelsea to 2 draws that all of a sudden there's some side of defensive dynamo. But I think it just depends on the Brighton that shows up for the day. When you have players of that ilk and that quality, you're going to get inconsistent matches. But I thought we were really good. We moved the ball really quickly that first half, so there wasn't a whole lot that their defense could really do about it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I'll make you right. Well, I thought we were really good. We closed down the space. We pressed really well. It's so surprising because you never really see that from a Graham Potter side. Normally they control the midfield so well. That diamond we spoke about in the watch along, we thought would be really impressive. But I thought everyone in that first half had a really good game. Even Emerson Royale, I've been his biggest critic. I've said it. I personally don't think that he's that good of a wing back. That's just my opinion. But I thought he played really well today. He obviously got his deflected cross, and Kane's first goal was just exceptional finish. Top quality finish, and it
was a great finish.
Yeah, hopefully Harry can get back to his best levels. Now he's really starting to put decent performances in. There's 2 goals again from him today. We're through to the next round, and it's good to be positive about. Bentancur got minutes as well, and Kulusevski. We spoke about his decision making in the final third, but it's positive now, isn't it? We move on to Southampton. What are your thoughts, on Kulusevski just quickly when he come on? I know you said you weren't really impressed with his pace. What did you make of him when he come on?
Well, I mean, for me, Kulusevski, I didn't think there was anything wrong with what he did. I think he just looked very cautious, so he didn't look comfortable, right? So he's not comfortable on the side yet. But he's only 21 years old, and it's his first time, and he's playing up top with Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. So, I mean, that's going to make anybody a little bit nervous, you know what I mean? So, he's played with Ronaldo a couple times like that, but even the front 3 at Juventus isn't of the caliber that Son and Kane are. Might as well just morph him into one person and call him Sane. But for him, I thought I saw that some of his decision making was really, really good. I thought that he could do. There's a couple times where I was yelling at him to shoot. I thought he was being too cautious. There's a couple times since he's left-footed when that ball was on his left foot and he was just outside the box. I'd like to see him, take a crack at one. But to be honest with you, I think it's going to take maybe 5 or 6 games for him to kind of get bed in, get comfortable. Which right now isn't very long. I mean, we've got 3 games in the next week, right?
Would you start him against Southampton?
Probably not.
Well,
I wouldn't start him. Maybe bring him in as a sub again. I'd probably give him a little bit more time. But Ben Teckers, and I'm copywriting that nickname. So our trademark.
Where did you get that name from, Will?
I made it up, man. Ben Teckers.
No, you
Ben
never.
Tecker.
No, you never. No, you never.
What? Yeah, I did.
Go
Ben
back.
Teckers.
Go back to the shows last week.
Yeah, I called him Ben Teckers.
I came up with Ben Teckers.
You did? I missed your show.
Look at him. Look at him. All right, we can share it
now, Will.
We can share it.
We can share it, but yeah, I can't pronounce names either, so maybe it's just great minds think alike. But he looks ready to go. He came in, he looked confident. He didn't look shaky. Maybe it's an age difference thing, one guy being 24 and having won, multiple titles with Juventus. He looked confident. He looked, just some of the, he intercepted the ball multiple times, locked people up, good tactical fouls.
He's got good footwork as well.
Yeah, really good footwork. Far better dribbler than Højbjerg.
Yeah.
It kind of looks, and it does look a little bit like, he's, if Harry Winks, if you could take the best attributes of Harry Winks and Højbjerg and morph him into one player, he kind of fits that bill of what seems like strong, physical, willing to run around, but also technically astute, and looks like he has a good footballing IQ. I'd say he needs to start against Southampton. I think we should throw him in right away.
So playing him in the middle, who would you play next to him? Assuming we play the 3-4-3 again, would you play? Skip was rested today. I'm not sure if there was any injury news on that or if it was a fitness issue.
He had a little bit of an injury, I think, in training, is from what I had said.
Providing he's fit, let's just say that he is fit. Who would you play next to Ben Teckers? Who goes next to him?
I'd like to see him and Højbjerg.
Will, so what formation would you go with?
This is the cool thing about it. Now I think we have a lot more options. You can run a 3-4-3. I think with him and Winks in the middle, I think would be fine, especially against a team like Southampton, where their attack tends to come through their wingbacks. Kyle Walker-Peters is on pretty decent form. Got a game winner for them too in the FA Cup yesterday. So earlier today, whenever that was, but I think against Southampton, you don't really have a lot of midfielders that you necessarily have to, they don't have that Basuma type player that's going to cause problems in your midfield that you're going to need, stronger players for him, where it's going to come through his balls coming into the box. And then you have, their forward players that are going to be the ones that we're going to have to deal with. But Southampton's looked pretty good in the attack coming from the wings. So that's going to be a little bit of a worry against, where they put Kyle Walker-Peters. And so I think Sessegnon or Reguilon has to be.
Will, do you know what? I'm not so sure, because I was worried about Brighton tonight. And after what I saw, I think Southampton might come to Spurs and just flop.
I mean, the only really creative player they've got is James Ward-Prowse. I mean, from set pieces, he is exceptional. He's one of the best in the world, let's be honest. Free kicks, corners, he puts some rut on a sixpence. But Wolves right, they don't really have a Basuma. They've got Romero as their DM. They've got
but when we went away to Southampton, they had us pinned in for 45 minutes. They absolutely pressed us. We had nothing.
Have we got, who do we play? We played
I don't think Southampton will be like that when they come to us, though. If you look, I think Brighton are a really good side, but today, nah.
Will we have confidence, though, of today's win? Being at home again as well, and then we're at home after that against Wolves, which will be a much, much more difficult game.
I'm much more impressed by Spurs at home than what I've seen on the road this season under Conte.
Even on the road under Conte, though, in the league, we haven't. We drew away to Everton, which he had probably one day with the squad. We drew at Southampton. We beat Watford at the Deaf. We beat Leicester at the Deaf. Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea. I mean, you know, I don't want to be that guy, but it's kind of expected. You know, this season.
I just think there's two different Tottenham teams. There's one Tottenham team that's good at home, or better, and then Tottenham away. When we go to grounds, we're different. I think we're a bit too cautious. I mean, what do you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, away we haven't looked that great. We have been a little bit cautious. I mean, a lot of the draws under Conte have come away, so I don't disagree. But I think with a team like Southampton, like we were saying, you've got Ward-Prowse is really the only concern, and I think Bentancur can handle him fairly easily. So why not have? I mean, if you're going to play 3-4-3, why not it be Bentancur and wings? Give Højbjerg a rest. He played a full 80 minutes. He's been playing, a ton of minutes. I mean, granted, he's had a bit of a break over the international break, but you've also got, if you're going to play 3-5-2, maybe you give Kulusevski a little bit of time since it is Southampton, and you play three in the middle with like a Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Kulusevski. You know what I'm saying? And have Son and Kane up top with guys out wide. The only problem I see with running a 3-5-2 with only two people on top is that Southampton does like to play through their wing backs, right? Kyle Walker-Peters is kind of like their main guy where they create play from. So, are you if you're that narrow, are you kind of playing into their hands a little bit, right? If you have two wider people out wide that have get a little bit of numbers advantage out in the wings, would it be a little bit more effective? Because I think that if someone's playing a 3-5-2, which is usually what Southampton kind of runs into, the 3-4-3 kind of gives you extra coverage in those wide areas where people tend to.
My only issue with 3-4-3 is the way we play it. Kane is on the halfway line. Son's dropped too deep. The front three are too deep. Like if you see when Liverpool play it, Salah, Mane, and whoever they play alongside them, they're never that deep. Whereas we just seem so deep. I mean, today
they're playing more of a 4-3-3, aren't they? Though, so I mean, that's why you have coverage across.
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm being honest, I think we will steamroll Southampton.
I think
we'll win that comfortably. Brighton's a much more difficult game.
I think we'll beat Southampton.
Brighton have got a better manager, better players. Yeah. Wolves said straight away, Bissouma, for that opening probably 20-25 minutes of the second half, he dictated the game. Like I said to you, there is a lot of traits from Bissouma that Moussa Dembele had. He can glide past players. They just don't have the firepower up front. If Brighton had, a Harry Kane or a prime Aubameyang,
that miss by Mupay at 2-1 was unbelievable.
Yeah, if they had an elite level attacker,
that was shocking.
They'd be 6th or 7th in the league, not sitting at maybe 12th or 13th. They've got the manager. Defensively they're normally sound. Midfield they're good. They maybe need a creative spark, and then an elite level attacker, and they'd cause a lot more problems than they already do. I mean, look at Danny Welbeck getting last minute equalisers. Danny Welbeck, that guy is pretty much finished. And they're bringing him off the bench. It's not really going to threaten us, is it?
But
no, go on, Will.
Yeah, no, but I just think that Southampton has a little bit. They've been in good form recently, so I don't want to say that this is going to be a cakewalk. They've got people that can hurt you.
Yeah,
if you give them the opportunity. But if we can get that first half mentality and that amount of speed, pressure, and pace, I don't think that if that Tottenham team comes out, even if you're playing against far better teams in Brighton, I think we open them up. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. When we were playing Chelsea throughout that stint, we didn't have Son, right? His pace alone, all of a sudden in a half a second, he can turn on some quality on that left-hand side that teams just can't deal with. Kane's the exact same way when he's on form. It seems to me now, this was the first time when I watched Harry Kane and I thought to myself, that's Harry Kane. The first time this season, and I've been hard on him this season for the way that he's played, but this is the first time this season where I've said, that's Harry Kane, right, from years past. So hopefully he's back, because if both of these guys, if both Son and Kane turn on for the second half of the season, top four is on. It's on. I don't care what anybody says. Right, with Conte as manager and Son and Kane playing, because it could have been 7-1 today, easily, right? Easily. So if those two kick on even more, if they start to get their first half of the season Jose vibe in between them, where they're scoring 4 and 5 goals a match together, that it's going to be lights out. I mean, it is. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does, if that's the trend that we see, I don't think there's a team in the Premier League right now that can match us with these two guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, Højbjerg it's too early to tell. No, I only need 5 minutes. I needed 5 minutes in that first match that Kane played at the beginning of the season to say he was down tooling. I need 5 minutes to see that Bentancur is going to be a player with us. I'm telling you, that guy right there is by far our best midfielder. And he needs to be in that starting lineup. He needs to be.
Do you think that we've still got an issue up front in terms of goals scored? Because if you look at the goals today, 2 from Kane, a deflected cross, Sonny missed a chance, Emerson missed a chance, Bergwijn missed a chance. We still are.
We are creating chances, though. We went for Nuno where we weren't even creating chances.
But it's scoring them. This is what I mean.
Yeah, it's finishing him. Yeah, I think we were far more like Son and Kane. So what people don't realize is if you actually look at the numbers, Son is doing better this season than he did with Jose. The difference is that
he's been injured at the moment, so.
Well, I mean, no, the difference is that under Jose he had less chances, but he would just finish them all.
He was
right?
clinical.
So every opportunity that he had, it's like if he shot, it went in. Right?
Yeah,
he just didn't shoot as often. So he's getting more chances this season. It's just the clinicalness is a bit off. But I think it has to do with, like you said, if you've noticed, since Conte came, under Nuno's a little bit different. You didn't see him dropping deep in like he is now. But the way he's playing under Conte likes, if you're going to play in a 3-4-2-1, if that's what they're considering Son and Moore as, because both of those players are dropping far deeper than they were if they were actually a 3-4-3. They're playing like midfielders. They're coming deep within the half to put in tackles and to pick up balls and to help. They're not staying high because like a winger would. They're playing more like a midfielder. So that's why I don't think that even if we were to play 3-5-2, having one of them in that center three, Bergwijn, Kane, Son, Bentancur, Winks, that type of a system. There's so many options now that you could run that I think that people just haven't thought about or haven't given a hard shake. But look, I think it looks positive, man. I'm excited about Bentancur. Kuleveski too. I thought he looked good. He just looked nervous to me. That's all. And it's his first time. That's expected. We'll see him. But I know. I've watched him quite a bit. I watch Juventus quite a bit because Winston McKennie's there, and
you're a big fan of McKennie, aren't you?
Oh yeah, he's my favorite American player in the world right now. But you add McKennie to this midfield in the summertime. Fun times are ahead if we could pull that one off. So
we was loving the McKennie vibe.
Yeah, I see on Twitter he was you tagged me in a thing comparing him to Ndombele. Yep.
Yes. I'm telling you, he's not as technically advanced as Ndombele, but his work rate is far higher. And so this is kind of one thing too that I'll mention before I go, because I know there's other people in the back. There's only one now, but if you have like a chart, right, and along the bottom is work ethic, and along the axis here, x-axis is ability. If you have no work ethic and high ability, that's not a player that you want on your team, and that's what Ndombele is: low effort, high ability. And he that makes a bad player. What you want, I would rather take a player with middle, high work ethic and middle ability, right? Average ability, than a player with high ability and low work ethic. Because in a 90-minute match, it's a team sport. This isn't individuals, right? So you're not going to be able to impact a match. And it's not even like basketball, where at least there's only 5 people on the court, right? This is football. There's 11 people there. So if one of you, if that person goes missing, it doesn't matter how good he is on the ball. If he's not putting in the effort, if he's not participating, if he's not creating space and taking space, it doesn't matter how good he is. It doesn't matter how many rainbow flicks he can do. It doesn't matter how many guys he can nutmeg. It doesn't matter, right? If he's not, because he's not going to get on the ball and he's not going to end up, causing product. But somebody like Weston McKennie, who has middle to high ability, but a super high work ethic, I think would be an amazing, addition to the midfield.
That's kind of
I think
like
we're just one.
Harry Winks. Harry Winks doesn't have all the ability, but the work ethic is so high, and that's why Nuno, Mourinho, Mason, and Conte rate him over Ndombele. The ability's not
Yeah,
there,
I would
but
say
the work
he's
ethic's
probably like ability-wise a little bit lower than McKinney and like Bentancur. I think Bentancur, you could just see the confidence on the ball, and that's what I'm saying. Like Harry Winks doesn't look like. Whenever he gets the ball, and maybe it's just the way that he runs, I don't know, but it just whenever you see Harry Winks on the ball, do you get this feeling like he's confident, like he just glides past players with ease, like it's not even an effort? No, yeah, I just don't see that from Harry Winks, right? It's more of like, what do I do now? Like he's second guessing himself. You can see his head's moving, back and forth, checking space, which is good, but that means you don't know where they are already, right? If you're having to look after you receive the ball where players are, it means you didn't know where they were in the first place. Whereas like with Bentancur, it was just like, sliding past people, like he knew where players were. McKinney has a little bit of that. That's kind of why McKinney ended up being one of the guys that ended up pushing Bentancur out of the Juventus starting 11, if you really want to be honest about it, under the system change. But if we can get him in the summertime, adding him to that midfield, because I guess on Twitter or something he said, "I'll see you later." Like, because people were kind of hinting that maybe McKinney's coming in the summertime. But you add him to that mix, or a couple in a right wing back, and I think we got a team, man. We got a team. So I'm positive now. I think this transfer window is better than the summer transfer window. And hopefully against Southampton, we get another 3 points. Because right now, if we win our games in hand, which I'm more confident now, because Brighton's one of those games that we have in hand. It is away, which isn't as easy as the fixture, but I'm confident that we can get the majority of those points, and which puts us easily, comfortably in the top 4. So,
fingers crossed. Let's hope that's what happens. Will, my man, thanks for calling in on the show.
Yeah, thanks.
You look after yourself. And
you can guys come see me later tonight. I'll be live at around 9 p.m. Eastern time, 2 a.m. UK time. So
send me the link.
I will, my friend.
All right, guys, make sure you subscribe to Will Stewart THFC Rants show.
Thank you.
Get a crossover there. Will, take care.
All right, stay strong, stay Spurs.